afternoon. Myself Rahul Narwal, rank 374 in this year exam, and this is my fourth attempt. In the earlier attempts, I was twice interview dropped, and on the first attempt, the language papers could not be cleared by me. So first of all, before discussing what I improve in regular attempts, I try to focus from the starting of preparation, how the preparation has to be started from prelims to interview stage, and then I focus my improvement during the exams. So first, during the first stage of preparations, like in preliminary, the basic approach, like 6-7 points you have to focus is that the first thing is read NCERTs as many times as possible. Like NCERTs are the basic, and without reading those NCERTs, you can't approach or build the foundation on it. And the prelim exam is basically the NCERT test plus current affairs test plus environment and plus the concept of economy. Now the second, in the prelim exam only, the current affairs, second point is that. And in current affairs, what you have to do is, like the UPSC regularly throws a ball. Like in this year, the current affairs portion is at large. In the earlier years, basically 5 to 10 questions, but in this year about 20 questions has been come in exam. So for that current affairs, I suggest that regularly read Hindu. Second thing, read any coaching institute's notes which include whole monthly current affairs like GS score or any other, whichever you like. And the third thing is that regularly update yourself with the policies, schemes and other developments in the government, which in the government sector or any other new policies like Atal Pension Yojana or any policies which are in news regularly, like from 6 to 8 months before. And the third thing is that the concept of economics, basic concept of economics like basic understanding, basic meaning, bank rate, etc., etc., all the things you have to be on your tips so that you don't puzzle yourself in solving the prelim questions. And for this, I'm not suggesting any book list, I'm just saying that basic understanding of prelim, of economic portion, it depends upon you how you understand that concept in Hindi or English by taking the self example, by taking someone else example. And there are different sites for that. You can follow that, or you can follow the coaching institute's notes, or you can follow any basic book of Indian economy. The questions of prelim in economics is basically the concept based, and second, the economic questions are basically on economic survey. So my advice for economic survey is that if you have time, then go for that, read whole economic survey. If you don't have time, that it's very difficult for you to read whole economic survey, you can read the summary from wherever you collect that, you can read economic survey summary. And fourth thing, which most oftenly the UPSC is very fond of that, like Buddhism and Jainism. And Buddhism and Jainism, I have to say that you have to read it thoroughly, Buddhism and Jainism. And they are very hot topics for UPSC, and regularly 2 or 3 questions are definitely going to be asked in your prelims. And for that, NCERTs plus there is one Tamil Nadu NCERTs books also available online. You can go for that, or any source. Don't go PhD for that Buddhism, but you have to basic understanding of that Buddhism concept, desire theory, desireless theory, all the things. And the other thing is that the fifth point, art and culture portion. In the earlier attempts, I usually neglect that portion, art and culture, for prelim. I thought that art and culture is definitely not going to help me in prelim, but all the time in earlier attempts, I was wrong. So I advise you to go for art and culture, and for that you have the NCERT's book. You can develop the concept and understanding. Basically that is a fact based questions more, art and culture basically. You can go for the NCERT's, and you can go for any other coaching institute notes. And plus I have suggest you while reading art and culture, like different dances. You can have a pictorial representation of that dance along with you also, so that you can develop a better understanding of that particular dance. And the other one thing is that I always left medieval history portion. So this is the only thing I left during the prelim portion. So it depends upon you, either you have to cover the medieval history portion or not. But I suggest you, if you cover all about all the theory and all the concept portion, and you have time left for medieval portion, you can go for it, because God knows how many questions are going to be asked in UPSC. And if there is a question of 1 or 2 questions, so that above one question you are above cutoff, and below that question you are below cutoff. So if you have time, then go for medieval history portion. Other thing is that I want to mention for prelim is practice questions. I personally never practice mock questions for prelims in all my 4 attempts, but I advise you, it also depends upon individual to individual. So I advise you to please practice mock questions for prelims, because what I think that reading as much as possible or as much from different sources won't help unless we know how the questions come, how we have to focus on questions, how to give attempt on that question. So I'll advise that you can go for that particular mock practice or test series, whatever you like, but at least you have some 200 or 250 mock practices for prelims, so that in exam you don't have to develop how to approach a particular question. And for other thing which I have to mention is that every student have a different approach or different criteria, that I have to attempt the 70 question and that's enough from 100 questions. I'm talking about the paper 1 prelim. So I'll advise that if you are attempting for 70 questions, and if you are 100% sure for 60 to 65 questions or more than 65 questions, then never take risk or never approach above 70 questions. And if you are correct, or if you are hopeful that out of 70 I have 50 to 55 questions, I am 100% correct for that, then you can take risk, so that you can jump from that cutoff, which are going to be every time is on the rising scale. Other thing I want to point is that during the preparation of prelims, like before 20 or 25 days, we read haphazardly in the preparation of prelims, like from different sources, 20 days are left and we read this, that, and don't do this. My approach or my prelims, my approach and my always qualifying the prelims exam in the all 4 attempts is only one key, that is I didn't read haphazardly in my prelim preparation. That is the main thing. Basic approach should be focused, basic NCERTs should be taken into consideration, and don't read haphazardly and don't read from different sources. Use one sources, read it many times, as much as you possible. Now I continue my suggestions to mains. Now for mains, there are few different, or I'm not going to suggest any book list or something. You all very well aware of all the book list, all the current affairs portion. So for the mains, I suggest you 5-6 different points which I have to mention. One thing is that read less, think more, because the mains, general studies mains portion or mains exam is more of that concern or more of that scenario in which your thinking ability has to be tested with the reading ability which you read during the preparation. So as much you think and as much you read, there's no different, there are 2 parallel tracks on that. So I suggest read less but think more on that particular topic. As much as you think in different directions in multi-dimensional way, that is going to be happen and beneficial for you. Second thing, develop innovation in your approach. Like innovation, I mean to focus is that out of the box thinking of any topic which you have to have a concern on that topic. Like I'll give you an example, like there is a topic on reservation. and obviously there is going to be different debates on reservation. So I'll suggest you to develop pros and cons of reservation. Definitely there is a cons of reservation, and definitely there is going to be pros of reservation. But if you don't develop innovation in your approach and don't develop multi-dimensional approach in your answers, then it is not going to be fetch more marks for you. So another point is that limit your source. I think you have to limit your source because the preparation or the syllabus is very lengthy, so you have to limit your source. But during that source which you are consigned to sorry, but that particular source which you are consigned to, add addition of that particular points or your innovative points is very much necessary. And for that I advise you, like notes making of, I'm not saying that notes making of NCERTs, I'm saying the notes making of different topics, and include that points like 5 to 6 points, and paste that 5 to 6 points along with your basic source is very much going to be helpful for your exams. Now I'm directly shifting myself towards the essay preparation, and for that I also said that write your own thoughts in essay, and don't don't judge or don't make mistake which I made in my earlier 2 attempts or 3 attempts. Like I write my first essay on that day itself, on the D-day, deciding day itself. So I advised you to write essay 10 to 15 essay before going to that essay or before going to that essay exam. At least you have to write 10 to 15 essays, so that it will gives valuable inputs to you. You can check yourself where you are making mistakes. And third thing I want to say is that cover all the aspects during the essay. Like there's a essay in this exam, India's Dream, and for that I want to say that there are different approach or different points and different multi-dimensional way in which that essay has to be handled or assigned. So cover as much different aspects in that essay or any essay, social, political, economic, regional, or any personal example you can write in that, but that personal example is not illogical, and you can write thoughts of social reformers, Swami Vivekanand, Gandhiji, Dr. Ambedkar, anything, but you have but that thought is not indirectly related, that should be directly related to that particular essay. And the framing of essay is very must for that. Like before starting essay, you have to frame your essay and take for that 20 to 25 minutes, and I can say that take 20 minutes for there are 2 essay we have to write, and take 20 to 25 minutes for every essay, so that the before framing you have to approach your essay in different directions and write different points, small points while framing, so that you can collaborate your points during essay writing when you write essay. And third thing is that I want to tell my personal experience. Like there's a India's Dream essay, and I write poem like 7-8 poems, the self-made poem at the particular D-day itself. I write it on that in that essay. So I suggest you, if you can write 2-3 self-made quotations, and I'm suggesting that self-made quotations is best instead of quotations from other higher thinkers or social reformers. So I advise you, self-made quotations works wonders for you. And I in this exam I write 6-7 lines, and I frame those lines in that particular day itself. And if you don't write quotations, doesn't matter. And mainly the essay is the test of your own thoughts, not somebody else's thought. So my personal suggestion is for you is that write personal thoughts as much as you can in particular essay. Now I'm shifting my approach to ethics paper. Like in the earlier exams, in the earlier attempts, I scored 83 in 2014 exam in ethics paper, In 2013 exam I scored 110, 17, and in this exam I scored 110. So I am expecting 100 or 90 or 100, middle of that, but 110 is very good score. But I am not expecting 110 in my ethics in this exam. But I think what I follow in this ethics paper personally is that there are some 5 or 6 points which I have to follow, which I have followed during my preparation in this attempt, which make me scored very well. The first thing is that the answer writing in this attempt I attempted, means in the earlier attempts I didn't do answer writing. That is the mistake I am making since 2 or 3 years. So I advise you, answer writing is must for general studies and especially for ethics, because in ethics you have to write in multi-dimensional manner and in a collaborative manner in simplistic approach. So first thing I want to say is that in ethics there are different sources of material is available. So my suggestion is, in spite of reading different sources, limit your source as much as you can, because reading different sources will confuse you, and this will never going to make you fetch marks in ethics paper. The second thing is that in this attempt what I do is that I understand the term of every mentioned topic or every mentioned term in the syllabus. Understand that meaning of that term, and for that I just type like I give you example, like there's a accountability term. So what I did is that I type that accountability word on the net, on the Google itself, and read 6-7 articles from that accountability aspects. So it will make my broader horizon more clear, my mental horizon more clear, and it definitely enhance my knowledge about accountability. So it will help me in writing the accountability answers if any is going to be asked in ethics paper. The third thing which I do is that in first I approach directly case studies in my paper. Like there is a 2 section A, section B. So I directly shift my answer to the case study itself. So I start from the case studies, so that but it depends upon individual to individual, but I start my answers from case studies itself. And for that I advise that in the case studies we have to try to think in multi-dimensional manner. Second thing what I want to mention is that give basic to basic solutions also. Mention basic to basic, like the childish solutions which you can mention, start from that. And second thing is that in the case studies itself you can write the thoughts of social reformers, and try to write something in paper. Like it's better you have to write like I have to suggest that try to complete your paper, and in spite of leaving 2-3 case studies or 2-3 answers or questions, you have to write something, so that it will give or it will fetch 1 or 2 marks itself. Like, and one thing or I want to tell is that try to give many solutions in case studies. In spite of sticking to particular solution, I suggest that try to give many solutions as much as you can, like point wise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in spite of giving particular solution and explaining that solution. Now other thing is that in case studies always try to start your answer with the basic question, basic solutions. Like there's a case studies in this year paper itself, there's a violent mob case study. So first thing which I am starting the solution is that, first thing I mention is that just provide some drinking water facility to that mob. This is the most childish solution I mentioned, and this I advise you that try as much as you can and try to give as much solution as you can in that case study solutions. Now I am shifting myself, these are the ethics and essay, and my optional subject is zoology, and I am shifting myself what I did in earlier attempts and what I did in this attempt. like there's a difference, so that in this attempt I got a rank, and in the earlier attempts my main scores are not very good, which can make me to score a rank. So in the first attempt my language papers English and Hindi are not cleared, and were not cleared, and I failed in those papers. So I suggest that first thing is that definitely I don't have any good acceptance of that particular language, and I suggest that for language paper it is not going to be very difficult for you students, because the language papers are definitely easy. But for that, if any of you will fail language paper, don't dishearten yourself, because the determination is the criteria in this exam, and persistent effort, the main thing is in this exam. In the second attempt I was not expecting an interview call, but I got it. But what I missed in those two attempts and what I did in this attempt is the main thing, and that is the answer writing. That is only. In the earlier attempts I didn't write any single answer at home or anywhere else, but in this attempt I attempted approximately 200 to 250 answers plus 15 to 20 essay in this attempt, and I think that is the main key which will make me to score very high in mains especially. And the second thing which I want to mention is that in the earlier attempts, which I was thinking that what I am making a mistake, that I am reading from different sources, like I am reading a particular topic like any security issue like India-Pakistan relation, I am reading from different sources, IDS से भी पढ़ लिया, and योजना से भी पढ़ लिया, ये भी पढ़ लिया, वो भी पढ़ लिया, like my focus and my orientation is not limited. So what I am missing is that I am missing my own thoughts. In this attempt I limit my preparatory source, and for that I just have a basic understanding of particular topic and then provide the valuable inputs from my basic thoughts itself. So for this general studies mains exam, the key is that as much as your own thoughts will be on paper, as much as you score well in exam in general studies. The third thing which I want to mention is that in the earlier attempts what I was mistaking is that I am neglecting the basic NCERT's book and the basic book. I was thinking that the basic books have already been covered and I have to shift my focus and do PhD on every topic. Avoid that as much as you can. So the thing is that in this attempt I covered my basic very well. I read NCERT's and all the basic books as much as I can. And the second thing is that in this attempt I practice diagrams and diagrams itself, which are definitely, if you have time, you can draw diagrams, you can draw flow charts, so that you can present your answer in different manner and unique from others also. And other thing is that what I did in earlier attempts and what I do in this attempt is that in the earlier attempts I write answers in paragraph form and in this attempt I write answers in point form. So for that I'm still little bit confused, or I'm not totally saying that paragraph form is wrong or point form is right, but I am saying that point form is having an edge over paragraph form, because in point form you can cover your answers in multi-dimensional manner and covering different aspects of any answers, covering all the aspects of any answers. And in points form you can give examples also, and in paragraph form you can cover that particular answer in 2 or 3 formats only, or in 3 forms only. But in point form you can cover as much as you can. So for any answer, if you write 10 points, that will definitely going to fetch more marks as compared to when you are going to write answers in paragraph forms. That is the thing which I do in this attempt, like writing answers in exam also in point form. And this point form and paragraph concept is itself provided by the Manoj sir, in my test copy itself, like in the ethics test series, I have written something in paragraph form. So I get some valuable inputs from that, try to write answer in point form in ethics also, by giving number wise like 1 to 3, so that the concept is more efficiently presented to the examiner, because because examiner ki bhi life to आसान करनी है हमें. And other thing which I want to mention is that there are some do's and don'ts in this exam preparation. First thing is that sorry, don't take this exam as a life or a life threatening exam, like if you don't clear then your life is going to be wasted. No, this is not. In this exam preparation itself, your mental horizon has developed, and your orientation of thinking ability is going to develop, which is definitely going to help in your life in whatever profession you have to choose. So don't think that if I'm going to fail or if I'm going to lose in this exam, because my personal opinion or suggestion is that in this exam nobody is going to fail and nobody is going to pass, because it's only a matter of, you can say, the hard efforts or extra efforts which can be put, or some different tactics which have to be applied, which can give you ranks. Baki, I suggest that success or failure doesn't count by that you have cleared this exam, so you are successful, you are out of the list, so you are unsuccessful. No, this is not. You are as much as successful as I am, because the success criteria is different for every individual. So don't take this exam as a life threatening. The second thing that I want to mention is that don't read different sources, which I have already mentioned. Try to limit your resources, but develop your innovative approach and thinking ability. If you develop your thinking ability of any subject or any basic approach, any basic concept, you are definitely going to fetch more marks in general studies paper. The third thing is that never neglect your optional subject. Like during the preparation, we often neglect our optional papers, like ye to kar lenge, but no. You have to regularly work on that. You also write that answers or optional answers. You have to also do answer writing in that. What I do in earlier attempts, what I did in my earlier attempts, that in optional papers itself, I forgot or I neglected the answer writing in optional paper itself. But in this attempt, I do answer writing practice in optional paper itself. So my suggestion is that never neglect your optional paper. The other thing is that the essay is definitely going to fetch you more marks, because 140, 150 in essay is definitely a good score, and it will give you an extra edge from others also. So I suggest you write 10 to 15 or 20 to 25 essay before going to mains paper. And just writing essay doesn't work. You have to you have to make your essay available to others, like to fellow aspirants or any teachers, so that you can get valuable inputs on your essay, so that you can improve on your what you are lacking, and that is definitely going to help. And other thing is that as in all 3 attempts I scored very low in interview, and in this also I scored very less in interview. In the earlier 2 attempts I scored low, in this attempt very less. So I just try some 6 or 7 points which I have to mention regarding interview. And for that I said that if your mains, first thing is that never underestimate yourself that you are not going to clear your mains. And I said, because in the second attempt itself I got an interview call in spite of expecting it. So never underestimate. And for interview preparation I suggest that there are 6 or 7 points which you have to work on that. And first thing is that your detailed application form. The second thing is current affairs portion. Third thing is that your educational background. and fourth thing is that the optional paper which you have chosen in your exam, and the fifth thing is that the situational based questions, and sixth thing is that the mental awareness. These 6 things or 7 things which you have to keep in your mind during the interview preparation. And the last thing which I have to mention is that avoid different sources and avoid giving many test series. Like during the exam preparations, we subscribe about 4 to 5 test series, and in spite of reading and thinking more, we just collecting the test series and then reading different questions. So at least I suggest you that you can enroll in 1 or 2 good test series, so that you can get your valuable inputs on time before mains exam, so that you can work on that. And the other thing is that the presentation of answers is also definitely fetch you marks. My presentation of answer is including the point format and flow chart format, diagrams format, and don't limit your answer to any particular topic. Like there is a GS paper 2, there is a polity paper. So don't think that if I mention economic portion or economic point in that, that is going to have a negative aspect on the exam. Try to mention that also, so that your linking ability will be tested, and try to complete your paper in a time itself, because I suggest that if you have a poor writing skill, I am not mentioning, if you have poor writing speed, then definitely improve your writing speed, so that it will help you in exam itself. And the last, I would suggest that the exam itself is a very joyful exam, and be determined and persistent efforts is required for that exam, but don't feel disheartened if you failed in pre, mains or interview. This is a cycle, you have to exit from it, and if exit is with a rank, that is definitely a good, and if exit is without a rank, that is definitely beneficial if for you. I am not saying that without rank you are nowhere, definitely it's not the matter. Actually the exam, in exam the rank doesn't matter, your mental horizon development matters a lot. So I wish you all the best, and best of luck for all the in the future, and hope you do well in exam.